I think at this point in time, while everybody is glazing Path of Exile 2, it's super important for us to remain grounded. And a video like this is very, very important because we need to remember some simple facts as to why Diablo, the franchise itself, but also just Diablo 4 with its most recent expansion, is by far the superior game as well as experience, especially if you are an ARPG veteran like myself, somebody who has grown up with the genre and essentially knows quality from, you know, something that's just basically really cool right now while everybody's supporting it, but you know, it eventually goes away. So in this video, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go through 10 easy reasons why Diablo 4 and the Diablo franchise is better than Path of Exile, Path of Exile 2, or pretty much anything from that whole camp. Let's get started. We'll start with the easy stuff first, where it's very simple to understand why Diablo is better, and we'll get to the harder ones. So first things first, reason number one, microtransactions. This is the Diablo 4 store. And you'll notice that yes, we do have microtransactions in here, of course, but all of this stuff is cosmetics. There are skins for horses. There's, you can buy like weapon skins. You can get like a whole outfit, everything like that. But the point is, this stuff is all optional. None of this makes you play better. None of this makes you get further in the game. All of this is just Riz for your character. And so you can completely sidestep any of this without having to swipe your credit card once, meaning that Diablo is the superior experience because what you're doing is you pay once at the beginning. And then, of course, if you want to engage in things like season passes and stuff like that, you pay once for the main game, you pay once for the expansion, and you're done. If you want to buy this stuff, you want to spend daddy's credit card, then sure, go right ahead. But other than that, you're good to go with that one amount that you spend at the beginning. Next up is whatever the hell this dystopian nightmare of a shop is in Path of Exile 2, which is just jam-packed with early access support packages and all this stuff. A lot of like cosmetics and so on, which yes, Diablo has that as well. But then also just sort of like slid in the back here, just general things which actually improve your game if you are actually buying them, like stash tabs, like additional stash tabs, everything like that, upgrading to premium stash tab, currency stash tabs. All of these things make the game easier and better for the person who's paying for them. And so that, in my definition, I mean, if this isn't pay to win, or at the very least pay for comfort, then I don't know what is. And I mean, in the time where we are now in the gaming space, is this not the sort of thing that we frown upon? Like, honestly, this doesn't exist in Diablo and hasn't existed in Diablo. And if Diablo tried to do this, we would be on them so bad, but it's okay that this game does it. Next up, sticking with this game now, we all know the quality that Diablo brings to the table when it comes to telling a story. I'm in Act 3 of Path of Exile 2 now. I have no idea what's going on. It's a mixed match of just being very on the nose and just like not keeping any mystery, any suspense there, or basically not knowing exactly where you are in the game, who you're supposed to kill, why someone's suddenly a bad guy, why someone's a good guy. It's just a mess. It's terribly put together. Diablo is the only game that can build suspense to a point. I mean, we're up to the first expansion already and Diablo hasn't even shown up yet. That is building up to such a awesome story point and delivery when we maybe see him in like the second or hopefully the third expansion. I hope they make that many expansions. But the point is, we haven't even seen the titular character that the game is named after in yet. That is suspense building and story building that you cannot find anywhere else, especially in this ARPG. And then thirdly, I just gotta ask, what the fuck is this? Like, this, for anybody who's unaware, is the table where you pick your skills. This is the passive skills table. So this is like attribute boosts, and it unlocks like additional abilities, and you can slot jewels in here and all this stuff. But this is the primary, system in the game that increases your character power. Yes, you get it from gear and stuff like that, and the skill gems and blah, 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 blah. But this is the primary way in which every time when you level, you get a point and you click it in. But how the fuck are you supposed to know where have these guys signed some kind of an exclusivity agreement with all the content creators, because this is automatic content for them? Because no normal human being can figure this shit out. This is ridiculous. I have a civil engineering degree and I have no idea what they're trying to get me to do here. This is how you do a fucking skill tree. 1 to 2, possibly 3 choices tops. super easy to figure out. You can quickly re-gear everything. You can quickly test between the two options, see which one you like. There's no kind of weird stuff that you have to understand, no weird substats and everything that don't matter, like accuracy and stuff like that, which you get in Path of Exile 2. Just a lot simpler to work with. I get the fact that some people want things to be a little bit complex and a little bit hard to figure out, but I don't want to have a fucking Rosetta Stone to just understand the basics of leveling my character from 1 to 10. And in 4th place, honestly, I can't fucking keep a straight face anymore. This started out as like satire just to kind of like cheer me up on like a pretty boring Monday. And yeah, I can't pull this shit off anymore. I want to first of all just start off by saying that, I mean, I'm like a gamer. I started in the late 80s, early 90s, and one of the earliest memories I have of where I had to earn playing a game was I had to do an insane amount of like summer jobs and everything like that. Actually, probably like more than one summer rotation where I was trying to save up money, pocket money, so I could buy my first shitty beat up secondhand PC. So that I could play the original Diablo on it. I'd seen it at a friend's house. I fell in love with that shit, and eventually they wouldn't let me come to the house anymore to play the game. So I figured out I had to do something myself and get it. And I've been an avid supporter of the franchise, but also the genre of ARPGs ever since then. And I believe, like, in a way, like, I've had rose-tinted glasses when it comes to like Diablo and everything like that. And I've come to realize that that's because Diablo is the Call of Duty of the ARPG world. And I don't mean in terms of like annual releases, because obviously that's not happening, but I really mean it in terms of like the inability for them to like just innovate and essentially just take chances and move the genre forward. And it takes a game like Path of Exile 2 and obviously Path of Exile 1, which is the shame, because I avoided that game like the fucking plague, because I was scared for a lot of the things which I was making fun of in this video, but I didn't understand it, and now I do. I just came off an extremely intimate weekend with Path of Exile 2 since the launch, and I walked away from that, or I'm still in the fucking afterglow of that, but I've walked away from that a changed man, and I get it. I get what people are talking about. It makes complete sense to me now. So I think, Path of Exile 2, again, coming from a guy who my really first Path of Exile experience is Path of Exile 2. So for a lot of you, you might be saying, well, fucking duh, bro. This has been the case with Path of Exile 1 since, the beginning. But take it from someone who showed up late to the party. But the point is, I get it. I understand. This game might very well be a generational ARPG that in many ways sets the bar far higher than any of its predecessors before ever could. I hate the fact that I have to reduce my love for Diablo as a franchise, but also Diablo 4, to just pleasant memories, and that I can't link to anything in the game right now, which is something that I think is a good idea, works very well, is fun to interact with, anything like that, because I've tasted the forbidden fruit. So I mean, I know I've probably lost a whole bunch of people with that shit at the beginning of the video, but if you're still sticking around, and if you're on, because my channel, has a whole bunch of different genres on it, but there's definitely Diablo stuff on here as well. And I do know some of the people that watch my videos also do play ARPGs as well. And if you have, for some reason, been on the fence about trying this out, and you've been using the fact like there's $30 that you have to pay as an entry into it, so you don't want to take the chance of doing that, take it personally from me that it is absolutely worth it. Yes, the game is complex. It's more complex than Diablo for sure, but let's be honest, like a fucking game of tic-tac-toe in certain cases is more advanced than Diablo 4 at this point in time. I'm sorry, dude, I hate to be the fucking guy, but like it's when you see something that's so far ahead of the curve, then you look back at what you comparing it against, and you're just like, the fuck? How it's like suddenly I got contact lenses and I can see I've been blind my whole life. But in any case, the point is, if you're thinking about taking the plunge or anything like that, yes, you are going to be dealing with a more complex game than Diablo, but that's in itself not saying much, and it is difficult. All right, there's a reason why people call this game the Dark Souls of ARPGs. And I mean, it's not quite there, but it is certainly difficult. I just finished Act 2 a couple of hours back, and it is some of the most frustratingly challenging shit that I've had to do in an ARPG, but super satisfying to do. I think personally the Act 1 boss of Path of Exile 2, that fucking boss has more going for it from a spectacle perspective, a difficulty perspective, phases, all of that, just general fight enjoyment than anything that I've seen ever in Diablo. And that makes me sad, because this game has basically made it so that I can only refer or look back pleasantly at memories that I have from many years ago, Diablo 2 and stuff like that, and that's the last time that I connected with that game. So I think I want to end this off. I know it's a weird kind of video. I started out with an idea and I'm hoping that it panned out, but I do want to say that I'm not going to do a review of Path of Exile 2 for the channel or anything like that, because I think I'd have to spend many more hours, and especially get into the end game before I can even attempt to do that. But see this as a mini review from my side. If there was any of you that were wondering, you know, if this is worth it to get into or if I'm enjoying it, the answer to both of those questions is a fucking resounding yes. This shit is good and you need to get on it as soon as you can. Other than that, as usual, fucking cheers.